All right. The only one that didn't practice today was Jordan Lucas, still ill, but getting better. So we got a little bit of that sickness go through the team and try to get the guys quarantined a little bit away from the fellows. Look forward to the challenge again of playing the 49ers and going down to Miami. So we've got the travel Sunday, and the players will be off tomorrow. And then we'll reconvene down there and start our meetings and our prep for the final few days before we play. So anyways, with that, time's yours.
Coach, before you go, can you talk a little bit about the rich history of this franchise and the traditions here and how your players seem to embrace that?
Yeah, they do. There's great history here. I mean, when you think about Lamar Hunt and all he did for the National Football League, for the AFL, and then the merging part of the two leagues, and then how he handled himself after the merge took place, and the leadership he presented there. And then you look at where Clark's taken it from there, and he's done a great job with it. So it's family strong. You know that. I've sat in a lot of meetings and had a chance to witness that down at the owner meetings, and they're strong. And you get a great feeling of foundation, and then you look at our players, they feel that. You understand it. You know the history, you understand that, and feel it when the AFC Championship trophy is named after the original owner of the team, you know that. So,
Coach, you bring that up back here. Bobby Bell being on the podium with you, representing so many great players. The Chiefs were kind enough to invite so many of the former players back.
Yeah, no, it was great to have Bobby up there. He's special. He was a great player. He looks like he still can play, and he's old. So they had some great talent there, and on that football team, and it was obvious by the championship. So he's around, as a lot of players are. We encourage that, like having the guys here. They bring great history and energy to the guys, and they kind of fellowship with the young guys and educate them on how great the city is and so on. So it's fun to have them here.
You had the heat turned up pretty high in the indoor facility. How much is that because it's cold outside, or you want to try to replicate what the players will be practicing in Miami?
Yeah, no, I just didn't want the snow to accumulate on the ceiling and to fall down. Herbie, doggone it. You got to think all the different angles, man. But no, I mean, we were just keeping it room temperature in there, so I mean, that's kind of what we're going to be doing.
Sorry, Coach. And I know you've always been fond of the time of being an offensive line coach and how much that is the backbone of everything you did on offense. Just when you were at Missouri in your coaching career, just what do you remember most about being an O-line coach there that has obviously helped in some cases as an NFL coach?
I remember having to deal with Vahe. That's what I remember having to do. It was great. I worked for a good man, Bob Stoll. Worked for him at two different places, and he did it the right way. And it was great competition. At chess play, our team played against Eric Bieniemy. I've told that story before. It took him 5 downs to beat us, and I remind him of that often. But what a great experience. I love Columbia. The university is phenomenal. I mean, I hate admitting it, but they've put out some good journalists.
What about the National Football League made you want to jump to there and not pursue getting the head coach in college?
So I had an opportunity with Mike Holmgren, so I knew him from when I just got done playing and at BYU, and he asked me if I wanted to go to Green Bay. So, it was sweet and sour. I left a team that was just starting to climb at Missouri and get us over the hump, and that was the sour part. I felt like I kind of ditched out on those guys, and then we'd all been together for a long time. But then I had a great opportunity with Mike Holmgren at Green Bay, and it helped pop me into a position where I could be a head coach and be here. So.
And your teams have always had personalities like Hugh Douglas and Donovan Matt back in Philadelphia, but this team seems to have so much of it in so many different areas. And they celebrate, they talk confidently at the podium. Like, is that something that you've pushed as you've gotten older in your career, or is it just a natural thing that's happening with this team?
Yeah, I think it's by the individual, and then you get them together, all get you get them all together and they kind of feed off of each other. And this is kind of this age, this time of life at this time being 2020, right? So this is how it's evolved since I came in the league. I mean, we were barely getting cell phones back then. So, I mean, it's now you can't get the guy that you give them a break so they can be on the cell phone. I mean, it's different. It's a different world. But they do have a great personality. And I've said from the time I've been a head coach, let your personality show. I mean, that's part of this thing. Not only as a player on the field, but also when you're off. And, I mean, you still got to stop at the red light, but you can let your personality show. There's nothing wrong with that.
Coach, is this the most fun you've had in your profession? I mean, I know your business mentality, but is this year, is this like the most fun you've had as a coach?
Yeah, so listen, I love doing what I do. So, but we've had some great moments. I mean, I can't compare. It's hard to compare that. I mean, I enjoyed some of these other teams I've been with too, so I'd be slighting the guys there. I've had fun with them. And, we're all honored to be doing this, as you guys are. So they're not a lot. Small fraternity, whether it's the media or the players and coaches. So I try to enjoy every day, and I've had fun this year, but I've had fun other years too. So.
Andy, was such an emphasis on trying to keep things normal, as it was regular season games. Do you still sense a different energy among the this week?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I missed the Super Bowl, so there are only 2 teams practicing, and you're one of them. So there's a certain energy that comes with that. But it takes certain energy playing the game, too. Every time you move up in the playoffs, the game gets faster. So this will be fast and furious, this one, and 2 good teams playing each other. So it's different. I mean, there's no doubt. You try to keep the foundation of it, the practices and meeting time, all those things, you try to keep consistent and the same. So, and even with the fluctuation that you might have once you go down to Miami, you give them an itinerary so they know where they need to be and what they're going to do. And you don't throw a lot of surprises at them. That's not what we're doing. We're trying within all the media and the hype, you're still trying to get ready to play a football game against a good football team.
Coach, yesterday Coach Tobe said that you've been really impressed with a lot of players asking the right questions. What's been your experience as the preparation's gone on this week and players maybe asking more questions?
Yeah, they do. There are a lot of things that start once you hit the Monday after the championship game. So the NFL flies a bunch of people in here, and you have meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings. They actually house themselves here, and they're in where our cafeteria is. They're in there every day to answer questions for the organization, members of the organization, which includes the players, players' wives, coaches' wives. So they keep that open early in the morning till late in the evening. So it stays organized. So the guys ask. They're not afraid to ask questions and figure out what's going on and what's the next step. A lot of them have family members that go to the game, so they want to make sure that that's taken care of and that those people have an enjoyable time.
Coach, you seem to be a sentimental favorite in this game with a lot of people around the league expressing support and rooting for you to get a ring. And I'm sure you probably have heard a lot from your former players and coaches this week too. How does it feel when you get that kind of outpouring that the people are rooting for you?
Yeah, it's humbling. I mean, I appreciate all that. They know how I'm wired. I mean, I do appreciate it. But they also know I'm going to get ready for the game. And, it's that time where there are a lot of outside influences that take place, and you got to kind of stay focused on it. And then when it's all said and done, then you deal with all that. But right now, try to stay at tunnel vision as possible. But I do appreciate all of that. And I have, people have reached out. It's great. It's an unbelievable experience.
Coach, what is the percentage, the game plan you have?
Say the first part.
What is the percentage, the game plan you have?
I didn't hear the first word. I'm half deaf, so you got to help me with that. Say the part of the game plan I heard. What was the first part?
The percentage, 100%, 90%, the game plan you have.
Oh, how much do we have in right now? Yeah. Good question, though. I'm glad we got that straight. That's a good question. So what we try to do is get the game plan in now, and so before you have the distractions down in Miami. So we've worked hard at that as coaches and the players to get the most of the information. That doesn't mean there won't be a little tweak here or there that you got to fix before the game. But for right now, you got to just about 100% of the game plan is in and ready to go.
Andy, there was a story that's come out this week about Matt Moore trying to understand all the installs. He said it was like week 3 or 4. He's in the meeting with you, Patrick, some other guys, and Patrick finished your sentence as part of whatever game plan that was being discussed in that moment. Is that your favorite moment this year with Patrick, to know that he can complete your sentences now in terms of how you guys think about the game the same way, or is there something different that you've enjoyed the most?
Yeah, we've been around each other a long time, so a lot of hours. But yeah, no, he, first of all, Patrick's a smart guy, and he's observant. He takes in everything. He doesn't miss anything. And that's unique characteristic. I think the old guys will tell you that. Matt Moore's and Chad Henney's, they've been around, and he's unique that way. He doesn't miss a beat. But I'm glad he's thinking like that, and that helps as a coach, that you're on the same page.
Last two.
Coach, how much have you changed, if any, from what you did the first Super Bowl trip?
Yeah, it's hard to remember all that. That was a long time ago. The base fundamentals are the same. I probably rearranged the schedule just a little bit and how we do things, but it's similar. Yeah.
Coach, along the same lines of Matt's question, they're hearing from people around the league. I had an opportunity to talk to Corey Simon recently, and he looked back on that Super Bowl and he said that he's never gotten over it, that loss. When did you get over it, or are you still not over that?
Yeah, so the crazy part about this business is you remember all those. You remember all the losses, and and they kind of sometimes overlap some of the wins, So, but you do. You learn to get over it, and you move on. Corey is done playing now, so I'm still going and still doing. I'm in the business here. He's doing other things that are good, and but it's different. So. Yeah, and Herbie, every loss should hurt, because you should be exhausting yourself to get ready for that game. So it should be that way with a regular season game. I mean, this is an emotional sport and an exhausting sport that way. So you put your heart into it. So if you do it right, you should feel it, and it should last. To a point. To a point, you're not going to jump off the bridge because you lost, but you're going to feel it, right? So you got to handle that.
Thank you.
Okay, we're done.